He claims to have served longer than 2 decades in the military. Says during that time he worked as a canine handler. Supposedly, that's what led to his current business as a dog trainer in Parker. But now several people have called our newsroom questioning the man's credentials. CBS 4's Karen Morfitt followed up on those concerns. Karen, a lot of questions tonight about whether he even served in the military.
Yeah, Jim, if you take a look at his website right here, you can see a number of certifications are listed, and it says that a lot of his training comes from his time in the military. But we checked with every one of these agencies, and no one knows who he is.
Six Mercer says most of her life has been riddled with illness. Narcolepsy and a rare joint syndrome make even the simplest tasks more difficult.
When I'm in a wheelchair, eventually I'm going to need for her to press the button for the door and, pick things up off the ground.
She's talking about her husky, Presley, who she's working to train as a service dog.
I saw his name pop up as a service dog trainer.
Justin Paisley, owner of Elite Canine Dynamics in Parker. Online reviews were positive, and according to their website, they specialize in, quote, positive reinforcement training and are veteran-owned and operated.
He had just tons and tons of certifications that he brought with him and all of this military training that he said he had.
She paid $600 for 6 sessions.
I would explain to him kind of what I needed from her, and he just never came through with it.
She says Paisley told her it would take more time, so she signed up for 6 more sessions. Halfway through, she noticed a change.
Presley jumped right out of the car, and as soon, she saw him right away and jumped right back in the car with her tail tucked.
After cutting ties with Paisley, she learned he may not be who he claimed. A retired 20-year veteran of the Marine Corps who worked as a, quote, military police officer with the specialty of 5812, which is a canine handler, he wrote online, posting on social media about the difficulty attending memorials, saying, quote, I lost many fellow comrades in combat. Using a birth date we found on public records associated with his name and business, we asked for service records. Both the National Archives and the Department of the Navy say they don't exist.
Did you ever question that any of it was false?
Yeah, there were some questions.
A background check through the Colorado Bureau of Investigation show run-ins with police almost every year since 1991 until 2003. At which time the Department of Corrections says he was in prison. And the dog training organizations he claims to be certified with, we called. They had no record of a Justin Paisley. Multiple calls and emails to Paisley went unanswered. We also went to the address listed on his state business license for comment and have not heard back. While Mercer is out hundreds of dollars and having to retrain Presley, her story is a lesson for others.
They're going to have to undo a lot of stuff that he did with them.
Now, we even went as far as checking some of these photos online, and it turns out a number of these are also fake. We reached out to Paisley again this evening to see if he had any comment or maybe some documents of his own that could prove his service history, and have not heard back. For now, we're live in Denver. Karen Morfitt covering Colorado First.
All right, Karen, thank you.